All right, you guys, these are the notes for Friday, and we're talking about the various properties of logarithms. So these are very similar to your exponential properties. So you guys will remember that when you multiplied x squared times x to the third, you added, and you'd get x to the fifth. That's going to be very similar to what we're doing. We knew that when we took x to the seventh divided by x to the fourth, we subtracted and we would get x to the third. And we also talked about how if you have x squared raised to the fifth power, you multiplied. So that would be 2 times 5, which is x to the 10th power. So those same properties apply with logarithms. So we're going to talk about this in log forms. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is all of these have to have the same base. You can't do it if it doesn't have the same base. So you need to make sure that the bases are the same. So if we have log b, m times n, this is going to be where you have log sub b of m plus log base b of n. And all that's saying is that these work backwards and forwards. So you can put this into this form or this into this form. They go both ways. Sometimes you need it one way, sometimes you need it another way. And so that's kind of nice to be able to work backwards and forwards with these formulas. So if I've got my log base 2 of 7 plus log base 2 of 4, that's going to be log base 2 7 times 4. I'm multiplying these, right? That's what it's telling you. When you have them added, you actually multiply these. So I get log base 2, 7 times 4 is 28. That is your property. When you add, you multiply. Just like here, when you're multiplying, you're adding. Okay, it's kind of the reverse. So here we've got log, and remember when we have no base means 10. No base means a base of 10. So we've got log of 25, log base 10, 25, times 4 is going to be a log base 10 of 100. I don't know why I put those parentheses around there. That's going to confuse y'all. I don't want to do that. So log base 10 of 100. All right. And here we've got same base. My base is 4. So log base 4 is going to be 2x times 4x squared. So 2x times 4x squared is going to give me log of 4. 2 times 4 is 8, x to the third power. These are basically exponents of exponents, and that's okay. So there we go. Now, if you were going to do the reverse, if we were expanding this, we're going to expand this. Here we were condensing. We're getting it smaller. Now we're actually expanding. So condensing was going from this to that one. Now we're going from log of m or let's use a different letter, log of p and log, and we're going to expand that into two things that would add up to that. So if I've got log of 6, my base is 10, so it's going to be log base 10 of maybe 2 plus log base 10. What times 2 is going to give me 6? Well, 3, right? Because if I was going to do the reverse like I did up here, I multiplied those two. Now I'm kind of basically factoring. Another answer could have been log of 1 plus log of 6. There's multiple answers for this because you can split it up in different ways. You'd get the same answer. Okay? Maybe try and work out some of these. These are a little bit more complicated, so you have to think about it a little bit more to kind of make it expanded as opposed to condensing it. So stop the video and try and work these two. All right, so one of these might be log 7 of two numbers that I know multiply to give me that are 9 and 5. So log base 7 of 9 plus log base 7 of 5. Right? You could also do maybe log base 7, 3 plus log base 7. Oops, that's a base 7, not 17. I was thinking 15. Log base 7 of 15. Because 3 times 5 is also 45. So there are multiple answers on these. No one right answer. And this, let's just say log base 2 5 plus log base 2 x. Because if I were to take those and multiply those back together, I would get log 2 5 times x. Alright? You really need to make sure you know how to do both of these. If that's a little bit confusing, do a couple of things on your homework before you move on with the video so that you can kind of practice. Alright. Now we've got the quotient property. This is when you're dividing, right? Dividing. So if I've got log of the base of m divided by n, that's going to be log of base m minus log base n. So at this point, you're going to take your log base 3, which is right here, and then 24 divided by 8. And it's not negative 8 because the minus is actually your division. So it's not minus 8, it's just positive 8. So log of 3, log base 3, so you're left with log base 3, 24 divided by 8 is 3. Okay, we're condensing. I'm not solving this at this point. I'm just creating a new logarithm. Now, hopefully you would think about that and say 3 to the x power equals 3, so x must equal 1. Hopefully you're putting that together. But if not, that's okay. But think about that. So 3 raised to the x power is 3. X would equal 1. I'm not asking you to do that right now, but I do want you to be thinking that way. So here we've got log base 2, 15 divided by 15. I'm just taking those two numbers, and I'm left with 15 divided by 15 is, of course, 1. And I'm not asking you to solve that, but hopefully in your brain you're curious to know what's 2 raised to the x power equals 1, right? Hopefully you know the answer to that. Okay, this, again, we're now just dividing. So we've got log base 4 x to the 9th divided by x squared. So I'm going to left with log base 4 x to the 7th power. Okay? You're just taking the answers and dividing the answers to condense it into one logarithm. And you can do that again, same base. Please make note, you've got the same base. All right, now let's expand this. So what I need to do is, since my answer is 4, I need to figure out what numbers can divide to give me 4. Well, there's infinite numbers that can divide and to give me 4. Of course, I can do 8 divided by 2, 16 divided by 4, 24 divided by 6. There's any number, many options. So I just need to pick one. And I'm going to pick log base 8 of, let's say, 16 minus log base 8 of 4. This would give me this answer, because 16 divided by 4 is going to be 4. All right. Now here's another one. What numbers divided by each other are going to give me 1/3? Well, again, there's many options. 3 divided by 9 gives me 1/3. 6 divided by 18 gives me 1/3. So there's lots of different options. 1 divided by 3 gives you 1/3, right? So you can say log base 5 of 3 minus log base 5 of 9. That would give me the same answer. So I'm expanding. You will be required to do this on the quiz or on the test. So make sure you know how to do it both ways. Now I've got this log of nothing, which now we know is 10. So log 10. What's going to multiply, or what's going to divide to give me m over 7? Well, I can just do log base 10 of m minus log base 10 over is 7. And I don't have to write that base 10. I could actually write it, and should write it this way. All right. So hopefully you're getting that. Again, if you're struggling with this, go and do some of your homework problems before you go on to the next section. Power property. All right. So same type of thing. Now this, you start moving things around, and this gets a little bit more extensive than exponents. But it's the same type of thing. So when you have log base b m to the nth power, what you do is you just basically move that n in front of the logarithm and you multiply it. So n log b to the m, or log n times log base b to the m. All right. So we're going to condense. This is the condensed version where it's used as an exponent. So we've got log to the 4th base 4 2 raised to the 5th power. This actually becomes the exponent. This is the exponent of the exponent. There's your condensed version. So again, your 7 is going to become your exponent. So log base 2x to the 7th power. And 1/3 becomes your exponent. So log base 10 or log 8 to the 1/3 power. And hopefully you're thinking that 8 to the 1/3 power, 8 to the 1/3 power is the same as the cube root of 8, which hopefully you are in your brain thinking that is 2. All right. But this is your answer. Or you could say log to the cube root. All right, both of those would be correct. Now we've got to expand. We're going to expand these out, and all you're going to do is move that exponent to the front of the log. So we just get 7 times log base 2, 8. And that's it. All right. Now I've got this big, huge exponent here. And I already have a number here. So what do I do with all this business? Well, you basically just move this out here. So I get 3 times x minus 1 log of 4. And I can distribute that to 3x minus 3 log of 4. And your base, remember, would be 10. And this last one, this doesn't look like it would be an exponent, but the radical is. We've got log base 7 w to the 1/2 power. Now we've got to move that 1/2 to the front of 1/2 log base 7 w. Okay, again, do a couple of your homework problems. All right, so now we're going to start putting it all together. So you're going to rewrite these as a single logarithm. All right, and then simplify. So our first thing that we do is we're going to condense this. So remember that we are going to raise this, take that as log 6 squared minus log 9. Okay, so right now I look and see same base. They don't have a base, so I know that the base is going to be 10 because there is no base. I'm subtracting, so when I look at my cheat sheet and I flip back over, I know that I would then, let's see, when I'm subtracting, I'm actually going to divide. So you're going to take your sheet, I'm subtracting, so I'm actually going to divide. I get log, this is going to be log 36 minus log 9. So that's going to basically be log base 10, 36 divided by 9. 36 divided by 9 is log base 10, 4. Okay. That's kind of how you work those problems, one step at a time. So I'm first going to change my, get rid of the number in front and make it an exponent. So I've got log base 4 a to the 4th power plus log base 4 b to the 4th power. If I look back to the first page, I know that when I'm adding, I'm going to multiply them. I need to make sure I've got the same base, and I do. So that's going to be log base 4 a to the 4th times b to the 4th. And there's nothing else I can do to condense that. A to the 4th times b to the 4th is a to the 4th times b to the 4th. All right. Here we go with this one. So now I'm going to again move my 7 in front. Log base 4 u to the 7th power minus log base 4 v squared, and now I've got to raise that to the 3rd power. What do I do when I raise an exponent to an exponent? You've got to have it be u to the 7th minus log 4 v to the 2 times 3 is 6. Now I know when I subtract, I divide. So this is going to be log base 4 u to the 7th divided by v to the 6th. Can I do anything with that? No, that's it. There's nothing else I can do. All right, so now we've got one where we're adding and subtracting. So we know that when we add, we're going to multiply. When we subtract, we're going to divide. But the first thing first, we need to make sure, do we have all the same bases? And yes, we do. So this is going to be log base 2. Take 15 times 4. And then, since I'm subtracting it, I'm going to divide by 6. So you get log base 2. 15 times 4 is going to give you 60 divided by 6. So log base 2, 10. All right. Hopefully you guys are able to catch on a little bit. All right, see if you can do the next couple. They're a little bit challenging, but go ahead and see if you can do them, because if you're not getting any practice yet, you really need to. Pause the video. All right. So here you're adding, adding, and adding. So we're going to multiply all of these together. We've got the same base. So this is going to be log base 3 4 times y. This, if you separate this out, that would be log base 3 of 49 to the 1/2 power. And hopefully you're getting that is going to be log base 3 to the 7th power. So I'm multiplying this by 7. All right. So now, when I multiply those all together, I'm going to get log base 3, 4 times 7 is 28. Y. All right. Okay, and then do this one if you haven't already. This one, I'm going to wait to do this one, but this one, see if you can do this one. Pause it. All right, you go log base 2, 4 to the 3rd power. Remember, you raise that up there. Minus, or divided by, same base, 32. Well, what is 4 to the 3rd power? Log base 2, 4 to the 3rd power is 64, divided by 32. That's going to be log base 2. 64 divided by 32 is 2. All right. Now this one you've got the parentheses here. So that means that that gets distributed to both logarithms. So log base 5, 8 to the 1/3 power plus log base 5, 27 to the 1/3 power minus log base 5 to the 3rd. All right. This, I'm going to go ahead and do those the fraction exponents. So you get log base 5, 8 to the 1/3 power is the same as taking the cube root, which is 2, plus log base 5, 27, the cube root of 27 is 3, minus log base 5, 3. So I'm adding, so I'm going to multiply those two. Log base 5, 2 times 3, divided by 3, you get log base 5, 2. All right, if you have not already tried to do one of these on your own, I would highly recommend you do that now. It is one of those things that you absolutely have to do. You have to practice it yourself before you can do it. Even if you get it wrong, or even if you just stumble upon it a little bit, that's okay. That's going to help you in the long run. All right. I'm moving this to the 6 because you have to keep in mind that these are 3 different logarithms. There's one. There's a subtraction sign. Here's another one. Then there's an addition sign. And here's a third. So there are 3 different, just like up here, you have to keep them each separate until you combine them. That's how the plus and minus signs are what separates them out. So you've got the blue one, log 6 squared, minus log 16 to the 1/4. That's actually to the 4th root of 16, plus log 3. Now, I find that to be a little bit confusing because of the plus 3 at the end, whether it goes underneath with the 16 or whether it goes in the numerator, but since it's not in parentheses, you're just going to assume it does not go in the denominator. So this is going to basically look like log 6 squared is 36 divided by 16 to the 4th power. That's the 4th root of 16, which equals 2. So 36 divided by 2, and then plus log base 3. So we're going to get log 18 plus log 3. Now we can multiply those two together. Log 18 times 3 is going to equal log 54. And keep in mind that the base of all of this is 10 because I don't have a base. All right, let's finish this last little bit expanding. Hopefully you guys please do at least a couple of your homework problems before you move on with me. All right, here you've got log base 6, multiply, 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 raised to a exponent. So we know that when we multiply, we're adding. We probably are going to have 3 logarithms going on here. We've got log base 6 x plus log base 6 y plus log base 6 z to the 4th power. This is all fine and good, but it's not completely expanded. I need to move this 4 in front to make sure that it is 100% completely expanded. So the final answer should be log base 6 x plus log base 6 y plus 4 times log base 6 z. All right. And keep in mind, all we're doing with these logarithms are just showing exponential equations. The benefit of knowing logs is that with exponents, it's only easy to do exponentials when we have perfect, 3 squared, 4 squared. But if you have 3 to the 3.65 power, it's hard to do it. That's where the logarithms come in. All right, now we're dividing. So we've got log base 4 a to the 9th. We're dividing, so it's going to be minus log base 4 b. Since I've got this exponent, I need to move it in front. So 9 log 4a minus log 4b. And that's your expanded version. Okay. Now, this one looks extremely complicated, but we're just going to take it one step at a time. You're going to first move this to the front. So we're going to have 2 log base 7 Q4R squared. Remember, we're expanding. Now we're multiplying here. So again, I'm just going to keep these in parentheses. Log base 7 Q to the 4th plus log base 7 R squared. Now, I've got to move those exponents out in front. I'm still going to leave my 2 there. 4 log base 7 Q plus 2 log base 7 R. Now I'm going to multiply it out. And I get 2 times 4 is 8 log base 7Q plus 2 times 2 is 4 log base 7R. So there's your big long answer. Now you've got your exponentials and your dividing. See if you can try and do this one on your own, please. I'm going to give you the answer. See if you can come up with that and work through it. All right, and here, once again, Hopefully you're able to get this. If you didn't get this, that square root is to the 1/2 power. But now I still need to expand this. So 1/2 log 7 plus 3 log x. So you have to distribute that 1/2 to 1/2 log 7 plus 3/2 log x. All right, see if you can work this last one. It's very complicated. I'm going to give you the answer. See if you can get it. All right. Hopefully this is helpful.